Okay, so I've done one of these once before, or I've done this video a few times, because I do get your particular motor a lot, just for the valve cover, because the valve cover gasket thing is a big mistake on, this is actually an engine that's that's a Mazda and Ford partnership. Now, Ford has taken it, they even make their own that is then more customized to them, but they kept, like I have noticed even on that, whether it be the Ford one or the Mazda one, this part stayed the same, and it's what always goes wrong here, why this always leaks. See, like this, oil being on this is your proof that it's really leaking, because this is the part that shouldn't be wet, because, yeah, that's what this rubber portion in here is. But then here's the flaw in these. So yeah, now see, like right here, where it curves, that's good. Round edges, like rounded gaskets, do very well. Sharp corners, 90-degree angles, gaskets don't like that shit. And you see they even try somewhat, it's like they know that. Try to kind of round these out around the side, but that just doesn't cut it. And then they even do it weird like this. Like, again, I don't understand why. Like, they should have done this. They should have done circle, like individual circles. Circle, 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 circle. That would have lasted a lot better. But they did this weird shit where it's this giant rectangle here, these two squares here, and then these are usually what goes bad the worst. These go bad quickly, whereas this edge of the gasket even has more rounded edges, and works like it should, so this one tends to go out, you know, in normal time period. So like, it's possible your valve cover gasket's never been replaced, and I show you're at 180, that's quite a bit, so that would be normal for this to go out. But it's actually kind of surprising this took as long as it did, because usually these are out quick. Like, that's even what I try to recommend people. Since this one's so bad, since this is designed so badly, I recommend having the valve cover gasket on these replaced about every 60,000 miles. Just again, because this is a shit design, the corners are not good, it's going to leak. But that's the common thing with these. So like, you did discover that problem, you're having that problem, but it wasn't quite what was causing your misfire. Especially the fact that, like you said, you found it in what, cylinder 4? Your problem and your misfire happened in 1. Then that's where the computer helped me out. Told me that it was essentially getting it told me that that cylinder 1's one misfiring, but that also it was, what it reads is no connection to this. Like, it's not reading any power from it, it can't read it, as if it's not hooked up. Now, I can even get that code just from this being not hooked up, or if this wire is snapped, any of that, or the fuse, or if this is truly dead. So that's why I did what I did real quick, was swap this guy and this guy. So what was over here, this one that was here is now here. And then the one that was here is over here. Again, reason for that is if the injector's the issue, if it truly is this little guy, that code should move with these since I move them around. If it's the wire or anything else, it shouldn't, because the problem is still going to be here. And it did. After switching, the code came up to number 2, and it said injector 2, showing it gets no connection to it. So that confirmed for sure it's going to be injector. And then, like I said, I even did coils just in case your misfire was from spark plugs or coils. But I did that with 1 and 3. So if that would have been the issue, if the coil would have done it, then the problem should have moved to 3, not 2. I only should move to 2 if it really was the injector. So it did. Everything moved to 2 like it was supposed to. That confirms this for sure. And then also, whereas I did mention, the valve cover thing is a common, known problem on these. The fuel injector, true fluke, man. That's not common for these at all, but also it can happen to anybody. This is something I learned a long time ago. Electric parts technically have no shelf life. Now, even a good electric part should last a while. So yeah, like if electric parts kept on frying all the time, then either something else is seriously wrong with the part, or the stuff really is junk and being made wrong. But just with how electric works, there could be a power surge, there could be anything. And one could just magically keel over and die. Nothing was necessarily wrong with it. It happens. I've had a GTI where one of the ignition coils went out in as little as 20,000 miles. None of the others ever had a problem like that. They lasted forever. But that one, and same thing, electrical part, like the electronics in it just kind of fried one day, and it died at a very, very young age. And that's just essentially what's happened here. You had something that doesn't usually go bad, just fry out electrically, and that's what was causing your actual misfire. you did have your valve cover, and you found the issue here, but then that's the other thing to watch too. When it does start getting to where you're smoking, or if you smell oil burning, that's almost always gonna be your valve cover too, because this edge here that's over the exhaust leaks onto the exhaust, and since the exhaust gets super hot anytime you're in the car, it then, you know, evaporates all, like burns all that oil, turns it into smoke, and you smell it and see the smoke. So that's usually your warning on these. You'll usually start seeing a mess. You'll see this burning oil off. You'll just see a mess around here, or you'll see oil in one of these. But again, the valve cover thing, but as you even saw, it's not just too crazy of a job. So it's not really expensive or anything. But again, about every 6,000 miles, I'd replace this guy, because again, this square crap, Mazda's the one that designed this engine, it makes no sense. I don't know what the fuck they did it, and it was never fixed. But this injector thing was true fluke. But again, that's why we had the scanner. It told us what was going on, so we knew for sure that's what it is. So yeah, I just gotta pull this out, pull this injector out for sure, and I've got a new one laying over there that I bought when I went and got the valve cover gasket. And then you'll be good to go. And yes, it even ran different. Like engines don't fire, or rarely do. There might be a couple that do, but for the most part they usually don't fire straight, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually it's something weird like 3, 1, 2, 4, 4, 2, 3, 1, or you know, something odd like that. And then sometimes, depending on how it jumps, that can make one missing a little worse than they're missing. And so when it was on 1, like when you even brought it to me, it was missing real bad. I guess 1's probably one of the ones that really carries 1 from a distance, and so it really struggled. Whereas it didn't struggle, you could tell it was missing, but it was totally different when it was over here. It did not struggle as bad. This one's probably more. This cylinder's probably got 2 others coming right behind it and gets a lot of support, so it wasn't, you know, holding it back as bad. Whereas that's probably like the first one to fire and then making everything struggle twice as hard. But yeah, that's for sure. It's just this little guy here. That's what was making your misfire. He just electrically died.